So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
working as a consultant data scientist at
Mm.
Concentrix. For the gate scholar part, this was the toughest part that I did
Mm.
during my third year of BTech.
Most of the people, if you have done UGC or in GATE school, so their inclination is basically for government job or being a professor. So how did you come to come like corporate job? So you need to be a PhD to be a good data scientist. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Codersarts. So in this series of episode, we talk about journey of the developer and also showcasing inspiring story and valuable insight from the developer. So my name is Jiten and today we have a special guest joining us, Sakshi Gujral, as a skilled and successful data scientist and also PhD scholar with an incredible journey to share. So Sakshi, thank you so much for joining us today. So how are you?
Thank you, Jitendra. I'm very well, thank you. I'm doing good.
Hmm.
Thank you for inviting me for this
Hmm.
session.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's
Yeah.
my pleasure to come and have words with you.
Yeah, yeah, same here. So, anything you want to share more information about you, or should we go with our question? A question I prepared for you.
So let me have a small introduction of myself.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
working as a consultant data scientist at
Hmm.
Concentrix.
Hmm.
Also, I'm a part-time PhD
Hmm.
scholar at IIIT
Hmm.
Delhi,
Okay.
and throughout it has been like 5.5 years to me working with the data science profile. So that's
Okay.
all about me.
Okay. Okay. So, your job is remote or office from office?
So job is completely remote. So it's a permanent work from home for me.
Okay. Okay. So, and where you're located?
So I put up at Delhi.
Okay.
So even though my work location is Cyber City, but then also
Hmm.
I don't have a
Hmm.
privilege to go there.
Okay, 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 okay. Fine. So discuss more about your job roles, current jobs role or position. So basically, what is consultant role in data scientist rather than regular data scientist? So what is
Yeah, sure. So I started with my career as a junior data scientist. So
okay?
after the training was over,
Hmm,
so it was the first designation that was given to me was the junior data scientist,
hmm,
and then I moved to the approximately after 3 years I moved to data scientist role, and now I'm a consultant data scientist. So
hmm,
the role
hmm.
is actually the same. If I talk
Okay,
on the technical side, it's
okay,
the
okay.
same. It's
Hmm,
just like the more experience you get, the better
hmm,
understanding you get in terms of solving the problems.
hmm,
So you become more experienced. So when I talk about my role, existing consultant data scientist is now
hmm.
I am at the position where I can guide team members, other junior data scientists. I can
Okay.
see a problem
Hmm,
related to the data and then
hmm.
propose a solutions. So that is the
Okay.
major difference. That
Okay.
when you are a consultant or a senior level data scientist,
Hmm,
you have an experience now that looking
hmm,
at the data, you can get an
hmm,
idea that what type of the approach should be there to solve
hmm.
this particular kind of problem. So this makes me differentiable with the data scientist role. Here comes the role of consultant data scientist.
Okay. So basically, consultant is a seniority level, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. And what are the different skills you are utilizing? Like what are top skills or day-to-day work or skills also? What are the different skills you are utilizing? Like,
Sure. Yeah. So I mainly work upon Python and R. These are the two programming languages
hmm,
that I
hmm,
mainly work upon. So throughout my career, I
hmm.
keep on shuffling depending upon the
Okay,
client requirement or the various setups across the various organizations in
okay.
which they are coding or
Hmm,
using
hmm,
the languages for their data analysis part.
hmm,
This is about the programming language.
hmm.
When we talk about the databases, so
Okay.
databases is quite important when I talk about
Hmm,
the life of a data scientist.
hmm,
So
hmm.
I have worked
Hmm.
upon big queries,
Okay.
SQL. So in a nutshell we can say SQL or Oracle part is very important to
Hmm.
retrieve the data. So that is the very basic skill you require. And
Okay.
thereafter, since I'm into the role of the data science, so I extensively use machine learning algorithms,
Okay.
and sometimes deep learning as well, and
Hmm,
many of the times I have to deal with the technique called natural language processing.
hmm.
So
Okay.
that again fall into the category of AI machine learning algorithms.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if I talk about my day to day role, what it
Hmm,
happens,
hmm,
what my typical day look
hmm,
likes is that
Okay.
I do have an internal product to
Mm.
work upon in
Okay.
in this current organization.
Mm.
So they have the internal product where they gather the data from the various clients,
Okay.
and thereafter they want the clients, different clients want the analysis on the quarterly basis, or we can
Okay.
say
Mm.
after every 6 months, or sometimes after 8 months. The duration changes. So
Mm.
when we talk about the analysis part,
Mm.
we need to fetch the data from
Okay.
huge data from their databases. Once
Mm-hmm.
it has been fetched, we need to
Mm.
process the data so that it becomes actually usable. So
Okay.
we cannot use entire data. The
Mm.
data fetched would be very large, but
Okay.
anyhow we require less amount of data. So
Okay.
data preparation. So after
Mm.
the requirement understanding, next
Mm.
very important part comes into the picture is data preparation. So
Okay.
even though we do have data engineers, but then also data science people want I mean, they have to spend their time on the data that they have received. Once the data has been prepared,
Mm.
now we get back to the client and try to understand what actually they want. And
Okay.
sometimes even client don't know what they want. So we
Mm.
have to go and propose them the solution that this is your data. This
Mm.
type of analysis can also be done with your data. So
Mm.
it's like a two-way communication. Sometimes
Okay.
they come to us and
Mm.
sometimes we revert them back. So
Mm.
depending upon the type of analysis they want,
Mm.
we prepare a solution that we
Okay.
called in the initial phase a POC, proof of
Okay.
concept,
Mm.
or going it forward, we just replicate it for the larger data, and
Mm.
then it becomes the solution complete. Once that solution is being proposed, we
Mm.
run the machine learning models,
Mm.
we come up with the results.
Mm.
Now the result is basically the analysis. So
Okay.
the result is visualized with the
Mm.
help of the charts, and
Mm.
sometimes with the Power BI visualization tools as well.
Okay.
Once we do have everything at place,
Mm.
I populate all these results into the slides so that it can
Okay.
be narrated to a particular client into the form of story,
Mm.
and they can actually
Mm.
improve their in-house things so that their profit can be increased. So
Okay.
anyhow, this is helping their client's business to
Mm.
reduce the losses if they are having any. So
Okay.
this is
Okay.
how a typical day looks like.
Yeah, yeah. So what is different between like no machine learning or data scientist? Like someone is data scientist and someone is machine learning engineer. So how these roles are like some way similar or maybe major difference in these both positions?
Okay, so if I talk about data science people, so
Mm.
they use machine learning as a tool to
Okay.
carry out the
Mm.
bigger task.
Mm.
So I would not always say that data science people would be every time using machine learning.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes it can be a simple Excel analysis also, but
Okay.
it is the analysis. We need to
Mm.
apply science to bring out the
Mm.
analysis. It can be as simple as creating a pivot table to do the analysis and get the work done. But a
Okay.
ML engineer would be most of the time engaging him or herself into the application of ML algorithms.
Okay, okay. So in generally in machine learning, if we talk about top level, so there is four pipeline. First one is EDA part, we can say, and EDA we are doing. Next one is training and testing, like maybe
Mhm.
outlier where different things.
Yes.
Next one is come, prediction and final evaluations. Okay. So in these four category, not category, this pipeline. So where the roles of data scientists come, like before training the model, or like, or maybe EDA part, mostly EDA are doing. So.
So a good data scientist would be spending most of the time at the EDA and then
Mhm.
running of the your training of the models. So
Okay.
EDA itself, it's like many tools are already available in the market to do the
Mm.
EDA,
Yes.
but
Mm.
what you have to apply it to your
Mm.
data, that is the most tricky
Mm.
part. If you are
Mm.
able to understand your
Mm.
current data, then only you will be able to apply any kind of prediction classification module onto
Mm.
it. So
Okay.
data science people should ideally spend a lot of time on the EDA,
Mm.
discuss with the client, get
Mm.
back to them,
Mm.
show them that yes, this data you have given to me, this
Mm.
is the stats of the data. Now
Mm.
with the stats, should I do only this much what you have asked, or should
Hmm.
we try to do more also? This is what.
Okay. 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 Yeah, okay. Fine. Got it. Okay. So let's talk about like what was your interview process like in your current jobs? Like how did you get in? After this question, we will go to the starting the your developer journey from college to this role. So first, let's talk about how was your interview process for current job?
So, a typical interview process for a data scientist role would be
Hmm.
involving, first of all, checking up of your programming capabilities. So, it
Hmm.
can be either Python or R. These are the frequently used programming languages.
Hmm.
And even once you say like Python, so the
Hmm.
interviewers would be definitely asking more of the questions from the various packages of Python. Like
Hmm.
pandas and numpy are quite famous, but
Hmm.
depending upon the application, like if you are interviewing for the NLP role, that is natural language processing, they'll go
Hmm.
for some another packages. If you are
Hmm.
interviewing for the computer vision, so
Hmm.
they will ask for the different libraries.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then once it is being done, they will
Hmm.
for sure ask SQL part,
Okay.
because data fetching is very important for a data scientist or a
Hmm.
data engineer role. So these
Hmm.
roles in many of the organizations are like
Hmm.
overlapping, so
Okay.
one must thorough with this. And then few of the organizations are using either Tableau,
Hmm.
Spotfire, or Power
Hmm.
BI for the
Hmm.
visualization as well, so they can
Hmm.
ask some basic questions from there as well. And
Okay.
for the experienced candidate,
Hmm.
we can expect that interviewers may be asking some use cases, some
Okay.
case studies.
Hmm.
So this is how, and statistics. Statistics is quite important for a data scientist role. At least we
Hmm.
will not
Hmm.
expect a data engineer to know
Hmm.
the statistics,
Yeah,
but a data
we'll
scientist should.
yeah we will come for detail about what the statistic part. Okay, so just first
Yeah,
focus on first interview process. Okay. Yeah, so normally
these
how many round there normally in data scientist normal technical round, how many round is there?
two technical rounds and
Hmm.
one managerial would be there typically.
Okay, okay. So how did you get the job which call for the interviews like from this company? So any job portal or LinkedIn? How?
So I was contacted by a recruiter over
Hmm.
LinkedIn, and
Hmm.
then the interview process start.
Hmm.
However, in the previous time, I was
Hmm.
also being contacted by
Hmm.
Naukri,
Okay,
Naukri
okay.
portal.
Hmm. Okay, okay, fine. So, okay. So now, Sakshi, let's talk about, your journey from the start, from the till. Okay. So from colleges, like what was like, obviously the graduation part, from graduation to till, like what was your different transition in the tech, first job, second job, third job, current. So this, we are starting your journey from the, when you started the, in IT journey, development journey, and then till the current one. Okay.
Okay, so from where I have started after
From
college.
yeah, after college also little bit talk about in which system you have done the college, okay, and what was your anything more, or yeah, college, what was your stream, and then
Yeah. So I started with my bachelor's in technology,
hmm,
primarily in the computer science,
okay.
and from Delhi, from Guru
Hmm.
Gobind Singh Indraprasth
Hmm.
University.
Hmm.
Thereafter, I started preparing for the GATE examination, and luckily,
Okay.
I made the GATE
Hmm.
examination also.
Yes.
And then I have completed my MTech from
Hmm.
Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University, again from Delhi itself.
Okay.
And while I was doing MTech, I got
Hmm.
exposure to the data science. I
Okay.
did my thesis onto it,
Hmm.
and I also secured a job from there. That was my first job. I went to TCS for
Hmm.
the first job, and
Hmm.
after completing my college, completing my masters. I started with my
Hmm. Hmm.
IT journey.
Okay.
So when I joined TCS, it was a very nice experience, because
Hmm.
during the training time, I got exposure to the R&D labs of TCS, and
Okay. Hmm.
thereafter I got the um, more of the exposure for the data science. So
Hmm.
when I was doing MTech, so I started studying about basics of the data science. So that
Okay.
made me more uh, interesting, and that made me more interesting
Hmm.
to go into this particular field. So
Hmm.
when I was working with TCS, my projects, they started involving the analytics part. So
Hmm.
gradually, that analytics zeal and vigor start developing. So
Hmm.
I worked at least for very less than 3 years
Okay,
with
okay, okay.
TCS,
Mm,
and with the domain called banking and insurance,
mm,
analyzing their data,
mm,
doing a lot of self study,
okay.
also to prepare
Mm,
me forward, doing
mm,
some use cases, practicing almost daily, that how I can improve my data science skills, how I can learn more about the statistics part and
mm,
new algorithms.
mm,
And then after working with the TCS, I
mm,
changed and joined Genpact.
mm.
So here I was working as a mid-level data scientist.
So how did you get the job, like call
Yeah.
from the Genpact? So job process, how was the like first job to next job? So how did you get, like you get the call from the some uh, career website, or you applied somewhere? So how did you get the
So when I was planning to change my current role,
mm,
then I was updating my resume over the Naukri portal almost
mm,
every day. I have
mm,
updated my LinkedIn profile, and
mm,
definitely there was one more portal called InstaHire,
mm,
where there were a couple of startups. So
mm,
someone suggested me at that
mm.
particular time that
Okay, okay.
one can go there
Mm,
also,
mm,
and there were other portals also cut short. So in a nutshell, I can say that all the portals are on.
mm,
I think I have shortlisted 5 portals for my
mm,
first job change,
mm,
and I
mm,
used to update them
mm.
iteratively to get the calls.
Okay, okay.
And uh, and I started my interview preparation in this manner. So I
Mm,
used to go for this hacker and test also, so that I can
mm,
prepare for my
mm.
interviews.
Yeah. So how did you get the call from Genpact? So from Naukri or maybe
Yeah. For
okay.
the Genpact, I got the call from the Naukri.
Okay, okay. And after Genpact, so again you get the call from, got the call from the
LinkedIn.
con
So
yeah,
yeah,
Concentrix. Yeah.
Concentrix. Yes, yes. So
Okay,
I
okay.
got this temp call from the
Hmm.
LinkedIn profile.
Also, you have mentioned your profile like you was co-founder Tech Delhi. So what was that your experience?
Yeah, so when I was wrapping my
Hmm,
master's,
hmm,
so me and my friend, they decided to go for some startup
hmm,
ecosystem also.
hmm, hmm,
So what was the major concern for people
hmm,
like us over that
hmm,
time is that we were
hmm,
not able to present ourselves to the bigger organizations,
hmm,
like job
hmm,
opportunities. What was
hmm.
not easy, the
Okay.
high paying
Hmm,
packages jobs were not
hmm,
easy at that particular time.
hmm,
So we just started going to the
hmm,
networking meets, and
hmm.
then we developed Tech Delhi,
Okay.
so that we can create networking platform of our own
Hmm,
for the people like us who
hmm,
want to
hmm,
uh, grab the opportunities,
hmm,
want to meet the co-founders,
hmm,
founders of the various startups, and
hmm,
get the opportunities done.
hmm,
So this is what Tech Delhi was trying to do. It was trying to bridge the gap between the college students and
hmm.
the startups
Okay.
who have just started, so that
Hmm, hmm,
those startups can get the
hmm,
students or some
hmm,
interns or the employers, and
hmm.
these people, college students, can get the exposure. So this is what Tech Delhi was trying to do.
Okay, so that startup is still working, or maybe that.
No,
Uh,
no. Later on, we collapsed it. I mean, we collaborated it to one of the IoT based startup.
okay.
Once we got
Hmm.
good networking from that, so it is
Okay.
now being working as a. It is now at the place of the IoT working startup.
Hmm. Okay, 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 fine. So, Sakshi, let's talk little bit detail about about your PhD scholar and your studied schedule or PhD. So what is normally? So yeah, I'm just talking about more detail about your how was your experience in PhD scholar. So after MTech, so how did you decided to go for PhD then in job? So just talk little about details about PhD. How was your experience in PhD student, or what different type of projects you learn, or different type of research. I think you also published
Yeah,
many research paper. So that journey, describe that more detail.
yeah. So when I was doing my MTech, so
Hmm,
the next thing was into my mind
hmm,
was to get into the PhD enrollment.
hmm,
But I was like little bit stuck and bored with
hmm,
full time education
hmm,
that I am doing.
hmm, hmm,
So I started to pick up
hmm,
with the industry job, so that I can
hmm,
actually experience the real time data. But
hmm.
at the back end, I wanted to do some research. This was for
Okay.
sure. This
Hmm,
was clear.
okay.
So
Hmm,
I kept on reading more, doing research
hmm,
on
hmm,
myself, and
hmm,
kept on exploring the opportunities where I can get the
hmm.
part-time PhDs. So
Okay.
luckily, I got into the Triple IT Delhi after
Hmm, mm,
after I think many rounds of
mm,
rejection and then
mm,
acceptance. So it
mm,
it took like 2 years to get me into
mm.
this place. I
Okay.
tried three
Mm,
times and
mm,
then I got
mm,
this. But what made me to go for PhD along with the industry is that
mm, mm,
uh, data science is quite budding.
mm.
So everyone wants to learn it, but it's
Okay.
not only for the job. I think
Mm,
it's like there are so many domains which are still unexplored. So when I talk
mm,
about domains, is like
mm,
the machine learning algorithms, the deep neural network algorithms.
mm,
These have been, many of the algorithms have been developed before,
mm.
but we are now actually see them that in every day we are trying to use them in different applications.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is the most beautiful part of the research, that
Mm,
you go and touch the domain where it has not been many of the
mm,
inventions going on,
mm,
and
mm,
then you try to study more about that domain and apply the existing technical skills or learn
mm,
new technical skills.
mm,
So that made me realize that yes, if I go for a PhD stuff, that
mm,
would be really exciting. And
mm,
definitely yes, when you try to do something which is not existing in the market, that
mm,
problem solving capability increases
mm,
within yourself. So that would be an advantage in industry also. This is what industry people are also looking.
mm. Okay. Yeah. What are the different type of research where we have worked during PhD or your
Okay.
MTech? So.
So I started with the social media first of all,
Mm,
and
mm,
analyzing the data from the social media.
mm,
So I published one paper for the Twitter.
mm,
This was my MTech thesis, from
mm.
where I got to know that yes, oh my God, I can do this also with the machine
Okay.
learning stuff.
Mm,
So I scraped some tweets and then tried to utilize the power of analytics
mm,
to analyze the social media. Later on,
mm,
I also did some work to study
mm,
again the
mm,
contents of the social media through various advanced
mm,
algorithms
mm,
that
mm,
that are being used to solve
mm,
those problems which we
mm,
cannot solve in a
mm,
fixed span of time,
mm,
deterministic time.
mm.
And currently, if I talk about, I am doing research in the area of the genetics. So
Okay.
so after the COVID, we can realize the importance of healthcare.
Okay.
So now this healthcare domain is quite upcoming in the few years also. So
Mm,
currently, I'm doing some research into the genetics,
mm,
cancers, and
mm,
parallelly, social media is also I'm doing. So
mm,
I keep on
mm,
doing the
mm,
research onto it, and
mm,
uh, will be writing some more papers with the
mm.
results that I would be finding.
Okay. So side by side, along with your job, you're also doing some research, right?
Right, exactly, exactly.
Okay, okay, okay. Before going to next questions, like for congratulations for being great scholar, or a scholar, or also UGC-NET qualified. So how just what was your journey, and how is gone through get scholar, UGC-NET. So just share that experience.
Yeah, so for the gate scholar part, this was the toughest part that I did
Mm,
during my third year of BTech. So in
mm,
the third year of BTech, I started
mm,
preparing for the gate
mm,
examination.
mm,
I took coaching, so I
mm,
was not that much
mm,
intelligent girl that
mm, mm,
who can study. But
mm,
yes, after the coaching, I spent a lot of time
mm,
doing
mm,
self studies,
mm,
and that portion that I have prepared for
mm,
the gate was
mm,
was the base. So it
mm,
helped me to clear further PhDs and
mm.
UGC-NET as well. So
Okay.
I prepared almost for 1.5 years, but
Mm,
that theoretical preparation was
mm,
able to improve my practical aspects and also
mm,
help me to crack both GATE as well as UGC and
mm,
other small competitive exams.
mm,
So
mm,
it's a structured plan I followed for that,
mm,
and
mm,
practice well the
mm,
numerical parts, the question parts,
mm,
time
mm.
management. So with the help of
Okay.
that, I was able to do it.
Okay. And how they have affected your influence your career path. So you just say get or get a scholar. So like your first job was in MTech, right? I think TCS was first job.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So Gate was more in like Gate or UGC was how is what influencing your career path. So like helping to decide better career or.
Yes, so GATE gave me an opportunity to study
Mm,
MTech with the full
mm,
scholarship. number
Okay,
one,
okay, okay,
and
okay.
that too in a good
Mm,
university. So
mm,
I got a research exposure, so that
mm.
gate made my theoretical concepts quite clear. So I am
Okay, yeah.
still, so I graduated long back, but still with
Mm,
the help of the great preparation I can still
mm,
solve the
mm,
data structure questions, algorithms questions. Those
mm.
questions are quite clear to me. That
Okay.
one sort of preparation, so
Mm,
I really don't have to go back and study every time.
mm,
And
mm,
if I talk about the UGC part,
mm,
so since I have cleared my UGC part as well, so I am
mm,
eligible to go for a lecturership throughout my
mm,
career. So if I
mm.
want to get into the teaching job or professor job, assistant
Okay.
professor, so definitely I do have a open gate for that.
Mm,
So it has
okay.
explored my dimensions.
Hmm. Yeah, but I think most of the people, if you have done UGC or in GATE school, so their inclination is basically for government job or being a professor. So how did you come to like corporate job? So
There are aspects for the computer science. Definitely in India, we
hmm,
don't have much of the PSUs. This is for sure.
okay.
And what kind of the corporate jobs? I mean,
Hmm,
the quality of the work that is being done for the
hmm,
computer science. I'm
hmm,
not talking about the other fields. The
hmm.
quality of the work that corporates are doing for a computer science is quite interesting, quite
Okay.
advanced also.
Hmm,
So that made me join corporate and learn more. So learning opportunities I found
hmm,
at the
hmm,
initial stage of my career
hmm,
was more
hmm.
with the corporate one. So that's why I joined this.
Okay, okay. Hmm. And also when it college, maybe one maybe monetizations or maybe paying good. That is also maybe one concern.
Oh, it can
Hmm,
be. But if I talk about the initial phase, so
hmm,
initial phase of corporate is not that lucrative
hmm,
as a
hmm,
government job.
hmm,
But then it becomes more of the
hmm,
lucrative part. But then again, it is like a pros and cons of both the things. For the government job, it is like a stability issue that comes, but not for the
okay,
corporate. So it's an individual choice. It should be an individual choice. So for me,
okay.
learning with the real time data and the more advanced things in a corporate was the choice. That's why I get into this.
Okay, okay. So till now your based on your experience, so what were the main challenging, not main challenging, so what are the different challenges, till now from first job to, current job, also during your research, doing research or PhD. So till now, what was your more, what are the main challenges you have faced during these things?
So anything that comes new to you is a challenge
Hmm.
always, and
Okay.
it remains same
Hmm.
even though you
Hmm.
joined as a fresher or a
Hmm.
mid
Hmm.
level or a
Hmm. Hmm.
if at a consultant position also.
Hmm. Hmm.
Anything and timely delivery. This is again
Hmm.
a challenge. So
Hmm.
anyhow you have to deliver
Hmm.
despite being what is being going on at the background. So these are the
Okay.
two major challenges. And if I talk about the data science point of
Hmm.
view,
Hmm.
understanding the data is the biggest challenge, where the
Okay.
first most of the
Hmm.
time is spent.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes if data is too big, so loading the data is also a big challenge, because there is a
Exactly, handling the big data.
yeah, yeah, big data. If there is, TV, there is large data. So that is one difficult task also. Okay, okay. So now let's move to the next section part. Like, so discuss what are the different learning method. Like, what is your learning method? So how did, suppose if you want to learn new skills, so what is your strategy? Like, first you follow any research paper, or go with YouTube, or purchase any courses, or Google it. So how was your strategy or approaches for learning any new skills?
Okay, so I'll divide this part into two things. So
Okay.
if I want to learn a new skill,
Hmm.
so let's say Python only. I
Hmm.
want to learn a new
Hmm.
package that is being
Hmm.
introduced into the Python.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what
Okay.
I'll do,
Hmm.
I'll go and Google out some videos. Number one,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll watch some small videos and then
Hmm.
do hands-on.
Hmm.
Any programming language, hands-on is important to
Hmm.
retain it, to practice
Okay.
it. So
Hmm.
that is one thing. And coming up to the research point of view, so
Hmm.
definitely research, when we do some research, uh,
Hmm.
research paper reading is very important. So
Hmm.
when I typically read a research paper, so there are
Hmm.
tons of words which are unknown,
Hmm.
and at one go we cannot understand the flow of the
Hmm.
research work also, because
Hmm.
it is like tough. and
Mhm.
it's a new, completely new. So try to make short notes,
Mhm.
highlight the sentences which are not
Mhm.
clear.
Mhm.
Google it down, or maybe go to the down part of the research paper where
Mhm.
nothing is being I mean where the references are being mentioned, so that you can
Mhm.
backtrack what is happening.
Okay. Mhm.
In this way you learn it iteratively.
Mhm.
And sometimes for a good research papers, and if coding is involved, you can get to know the code also, the actual
Mhm.
implementation.
Mhm.
So one can do that also. So
Mhm.
combining these two, I would say if you want to learn anything new, go
Mhm.
for theory part first and then
Mhm.
hands on. Don't
Mhm.
skip theory. Many of
Mhm.
us skip
Mhm.
theory just
Okay.
to make the things speedy, but theory
Mhm.
you should also know.
Okay. Okay. So have you got any like useful resources, website or anything like that? Or any YouTube or any website? Like all these are, available in organized form. I think in data scientist, there is not, many, too much information is not available, but there is some information, but they are in a scattered form. Okay. So,
Exactly, yeah.
have you got through any such website or anything? I'm talking about the resources you generally uses.
Yeah. For some of the parts of the data science, let's say
Hmm,
statistics,
hmm,
I the same problem even I face, the
hmm,
scattered resources,
hmm,
what
hmm,
I have to start. So I went to Udemy.
hmm,
Honestly, I went to Udemy and
hmm,
then check out what I need to learn. So I
hmm,
found a very good resource,
hmm,
a very concise course
hmm,
over there. I purchased it and it was simply quite cheap to purchase it,
hmm.
and it was very
Yes.
useful. So till now, I mean, if
Hmm,
effectively I would say four
hmm,
years,
hmm,
4.5 years back, I purchased it, and it is
hmm,
still there in my local drive. I
hmm,
Whenever I have to revise, I just open it and that's it. I
hmm.
study that only. It is a coverage
Okay.
of it. So
Hmm,
for statistics part, a small course which is
hmm,
concise is good.
hmm, hmm,
And programming and everything, a lot of platforms like hacker rank,
hmm,
data camp. So
hmm,
data camp is very good for that
hmm.
as well. So I
Okay.
commonly use data camp now
Hmm,
also sometimes to brush up my skills.
hmm, hmm. Yeah. So also, so how much important, suppose, somebody working on different machine learning algorithm, right? So,
Hmm.
sometime, implementing the any algorithm from a scratch. So, have you faced this such scenario like sometime, you have restricted to use, uh, machine learning algorithm from scratch, or maybe just we are using the build library scikit-learn, something like that,
Hmm.
TensorFlow. So I'm just, the concern is like, have you implemented any machine learning algorithm from a scratch, or what are the things you have faced that
Okay,
time?
definitely it involves a lot of coding, but
Mhm,
it gives you a very high level transparency what is
mhm,
actually going on at the each and every step. So
mhm,
if you want to do some research, modifying the existing approaches,
mhm,
study in and out, study also in and out,
mhm,
you
mhm,
have you should prepare. I mean, you should do the code from the scratch.
mhm,
So when
mhm,
I started learning linear
mhm,
regression, logistic
mhm,
regression,
mhm,
SVMs. So these are some basic machine learning algorithms.
mhm,
I
mhm.
followed them from the scratch so that I can tweak them. Like
Okay.
if I change this function, what would be my output? If I change this function, what
Mhm,
would be the output?
mhm,
So this is how I
mhm,
approach. But now to do the works very speedily,
mhm,
unless and until it is not required, I don't
mhm.
use them from the scratch point of view.
Okay, okay. Okay. So, like, so suppose someone want to start, so suppose someone in other domain, like they are mobile app developer or web developer or
Okay.
any other front end
Hmm.
developer, they want to get into data scientist. Okay. So,
Right.
so as a practical point of view, so what are the different, so how they should start? Like first they go with conceptual, different courses, then follow some projects hands on. So, what is your
Okay.
opinion on that?
Okay, so if I say a person who's completely from a different background, so as
Yes,
you
yes.
mentioned, a developer, so ideally, one should have a proper structured plan. Like it will
Mm,
take 4 to 8 months to prepare.
mm.
This is for
Okay.
sure, because if
Mm,
already a person is working, then
mm,
the bandwidth to
mm,
prepare
mm,
would be less.
mhm.
So,
Okay.
and depending upon the speed also,
Mm,
so it will take 4 to 8 months, and definitely, if possible, buying a course would be a good idea. Would be a
mhm,
good idea,
mm, mm,
because you will not lost in a scattered resources. Net has
mhm,
got everything. but
Mhm.
it would be again a scattered one.
Mhm.
So if there are so many online diplomas and the degrees going on right now,
Mhm.
so if somebody wants to spend and learn, those would be
Mhm.
definitely a good approach,
Mhm.
and structured also. They will
Mhm.
keep you on track. You will not be able to distract that there are quite resources. What should I study? Should
Mhm.
study this or not?
Mhm.
Or secondly, if somebody is not buying a course, then
Mhm.
there are a couple of blogs
Mhm.
articles which
Mhm.
says that follow, they have got a structured plan. You
Okay.
can follow that also, but it's always good and explore the contents what you have to study first before studying it blindly. It will save the time.
Mhm. So any like initial courses, like what are the different courses they should learn, like NumPy, scikit-learn. Sorry, yeah, obviously SciPy is there, NumPy there, Pandas is there. So any different skills, like how many generally skills should be learned to get the uh, good sorry
Entry level
foundation.
job.
Yeah, yeah, entry level job.
Yeah. Okay. So either select Python or R, number
Mm-hmm.
one, and then study Pandas, NumPy, and basic Python. This is for
Okay.
sure. This you
Mm-hmm.
have to prepare,
Mm-hmm.
and then study the SQL part thoroughly, and then I would suggest to go and study the basic machine learning and the
Mm-hmm.
statistical models. So linear regression, logistic regression, more are more towards the statistical modeling.
Mm-hmm.
So for the entry level jobs, linear regression and logistic regression are frequently asked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
And then what a person can do, maybe prepare 4 or 5 use cases,
Mm-hmm.
like solving some clustering problem, some
Mm-hmm.
classification problem. So machine learning algorithms are quite vast,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
quite wide. So don't try to study all of them. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
at least for an entry level job, just
Okay.
basic statistical modeling, and then maybe pick 5 or 6 machine learning
Mm-hmm.
models, thorough with their math. So a high
Okay.
amount of mathematics is involved, and that
Mm-hmm.
would be the favorite questions of the
Mm-hmm.
interviewers. Mathematics
Okay.
involved.
Mm-hmm.
So study them, prepare them,
Mm-hmm.
and try to implement them with Python,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
so that you get both theoretical and a hands-on
Mm-hmm.
uh, experience. So in this way, your Python, SQL, machine learning would be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay.
how you are going to visualize the results.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two ways. Either you can go for a visualization tool, or you can
Mm-hmm.
hold on for an entry level job. You
Mm-hmm.
can use built-in libraries within Python itself, like Matplotlib or a Seaborn.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get a good visualization out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So these 5 6 things are important.
Okay, so as a data science, so what are the different level of projects we should work on? Like, so have you any idea about, like, have some common project they should work on, so that they will cover almost, because just you talk about POC part. Okay, so at least once they have learned the theoretical parts, so that they can validate themselves. Okay, I'm good in, once we are able to solve this type of project, so I'm very much good in. So any projects idea you suggesting this type of project?
Yes, do some projects with the clustering.
Mm-hmm.
There are, if you want to learn, if somebody wants to learn,
Mm-hmm.
so learn clustering.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can say some some regression prediction part,
Mm-hmm.
some problems related to it,
Mm-hmm.
and once the classification. So clustering, prediction, and classification, these are the three basic things that we expect from a entry level people that they should know. Once the entry level is done, then at the
Mm-hmm.
mid level or the high level, there would be other kinds of expectations.
Okay.
So for the mid level, we expect people to know time series forecasting
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, or
Mm-hmm.
NLP or computer vision. And
Okay.
then if we get into that kind of pick either of them, like either the time series or a
Mm-hmm.
NLP or a computer vision, then
Mm-hmm.
what would be the advantage at the mid level if you're working on either of them or maybe other techniques? Then you can specialize into it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So from now, once you get specialized, you will be moving from ML to DL, that is deep learning, or other
Okay.
advanced algorithms as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also because there is, many domains. We just to talk about, NLP is there, deep learning is there,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Also there is also new framework is coming. TensorFlow, Keras is
Right,
also
right,
there.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, obviously there is, this image processing are different domains. Okay. So there is,
yeah,
so yeah. So but as a data scientist, basic stick to machine learning part. Okay. And data part. So how
yes.
like you're talking about NLP is a total different domains, like is somehow coincident or concise between them, like NLP or data scientist. So
NLP is natural language processing. So
mm,
it's just like your image vision only.
mm,
So if I say a general data scientist and a
mm,
specialized data
mm.
scientist,
Okay, yeah,
let's talk in this manner.
yeah, fine,
So
fine.
it's like a general data scientist would be knowing basics of
Mm,
machine learning,
okay.
but an NLP expert or a computer vision expert would be
Mm,
knowing the basic ones also, and their specialized frameworks to do
okay.
natural language processing or a computer vision processing.
Mm,
This is
mm.
how it goes on.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I got the idea. Okay, fine. So moving to the next question. So what are the different type of job roles or job opportunity available?
Mhm.
Okay, so suppose as a data scientist you have, so what are the different type of opportunity available for you? Okay, so
Okay.
maybe sometime you also applying for data analytics, data engineer. So you're talking about, suppose if you have understanding of these skills you talk about, right? So what are the other skills they can apply? Not skills, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the jobs.
Yeah. So if you are preparing for a general data science preparation,
Yes.
uh, and if you specialize like a visualization part, so I
Mm, mm,
say I know basics of data science now,
mm, mm.
but I have got a keen interest to develop to work into the Tableau or a Power BI, because
Okay.
visualization is something that I'm
Mm,
enjoying a lot. So
mm,
in that particular scenario, data analyst
mm,
job would be highly preferable.
mm, mm,
Now, if somebody says that I have learned the basics, but I
mm,
am keen towards fetching up
mm.
of the data preparation part,
Okay.
I want to study more into it.
Mm,
So every job role,
mm,
after studying a basic one, needs
mm,
at
mm.
least one more specialization, one
Okay.
more
Okay.
control,
Mm,
like one more control over the skill.
mm,
So
mm,
if you once you have studied this basic pipeline,
mm,
then if you specialize a little bit more, like
mm,
if I talk about data engineering, if they
mm,
specialize in
mm,
any of the big data framework or maybe a cloud, so you can get into the data engineering role. And if somebody is thorough with the visualization, they can get into the data visualization role.
mm,
And somebody gets specialized into the machine learning, then a data scientist role.
mm,
And
mm,
if you just want to expertise with a particular domain, like if I
mm.
say I just want to confine only with the healthcare part,
Okay.
then you become a domain specialist also. So then you can apply for a business analyst role also. So there it would not be involving a lot of programming, but
Mm,
a domain, what kind of analysis you can do with a particular domain would be required. So
okay.
this is how these four roles are quite prominent, and then
Mm,
they're like overlapping names within it, but prominently I just categorize them into the four roles.
mm. Okay. Okay. So next, moving to the other questions. So first, let's talk about some myth in data scientists. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay. So data scientists all about mathematics and statistics. Okay. So how you think? What is your opinion on that?
No, uh, 20% agreed. That is.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it involves mathematics,
Mm,
definitely, or the
mm,
statistics, but it
mm,
involves a lot more. It
mm,
involves the storytelling also. It
mm,
involves how good you
mm,
are at presenting or visualizing your results,
mm,
how good you write about the results that you have
mm.
obtained, how
Okay.
good you have visualized them,
Mm, okay.
how good you have understand the data, not only
Mm,
from the statistics point of view
mm,
but from the
mm,
real time point of view also. So
mm,
sometimes the
mm,
data seems to be fit from the statistical point of view, but it is not actually aligned with the real time view.
mm, okay. Yeah. Fine. And okay, so next next myth is like science and machine learning are the same. Is the same?
No, data science is a superset and a machine learning is a subset, a tool that can be
Mm,
used, as I
mm,
mentioned before also. Data science
Okay.
analysis can be done with the pivot also.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay. And next question is, so data science is only for the large company. So is it true?
No, actually not.
Mm,
So it yes. So if I say only for the large companies, that definitely the cost of infrastructure or the
mm.
resources is taken into the consideration. That
Okay.
is what
Mhm,
we generally go. That if a company X has a huge budget, that they can
mm,
spend more onto the data analysis part.
mm,
But in the recent scenarios, what I have
mm,
found that even though the smaller organizations, they have got a
mm,
tremendous amount of data. So
mm,
it's not always like the quantity of the data, the quality of
mm,
data also matters. So
mm,
analysis can be done for the smaller
mm,
organizations also, and they can also do it. But uh, it would always be like they will take time to develop a in-house bigger infrastructure,
mhm.
but
Okay.
they can use some handy tools to do the analysis for them also.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Okay. So next prompt is like, you need to be a PhD to be a good data scientist.
Actually not. Actually not.
Mm,
But since I'm a PhD student, but
mm,
I would say
mm,
the problem solving skills and a
mm.
research attitude would
Okay.
always be helping
Mm,
you around to get a
mm,
better data scientist. So
mm,
that's why in a recent
mm,
scenarios, even
mm,
when I was changing my job
mm,
from TCS to Genpact, I also saw openings where it was
mm,
specifically mentioned you need to be
mm,
a MTech or a PhD to get into
mm.
this job.
Okay. Yeah.
So but actually in these are the two things which are required: research capability
Mm,
uh, and problem solving skills. And
okay. Okay.
definitely a PhD student has got more of it,
Mm,
little
okay.
bit more of it, we can say.
Okay, so like somebody is already in corporate, right? So they are working as
Hmm.
junior data scientist, but they
Hmm.
haven't done any PhD. So, what you will recommend? So they should go for PhD for 4 or 5 year, or they should focus on company on data scientist role next 4 or 5 years. So what will be more effective?
Okay, so doing a PhD is not mandatory. This is for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Doing a PhD while you're working with a corporate is your own decision, a personal
Mm,
interest,
mm,
or
mm,
unless and until if somebody, as industry sponsors you to do the same, that is another
okay.
part.
Mm,
But to become a junior data, to move from a junior data scientist role to an expert one,
mm, mm,
you need to study. I mean, you
okay.
need to study more in
Mm,
terms of the algorithms. You need to
mm,
learn them.
okay.
So that learning in the corporate can also be done with the help of a research work. So I
Mm,
have so many friends of mine who are
mm,
working with the corporate, and they also have to study the research papers, some new white papers, some
mm,
new articles, develop the algorithms without
mm,
doing PhD.
mm. Okay, yeah.
Without doing PhD. So it's a indirectly PhD you are doing, but I think not getting degree. That's it.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. Because obviously, the final or yeah, last part is how much you are interested to learn new things. Because
Right, right,
yeah,
right.
because as a web developer or other mobile app developer, there's total different thing. But as a you have to be good reader, I think. If you have
Yes,
be a
exactly.
researcher. Okay.
Oh, why? One more thing that is important is that why this field requires
Mm,
you to study a more, because
mm,
we are still at the place we are trying to develop more of the frameworks, the infrastructure to
mm,
utilize the skills of the data science in more detail. So that is why people who are working
mm,
right now, those are like pioneer who are
mm,
developing some stuff which is not existing in the market.
mm,
So
mm,
that's
mm.
why they need to study more, interrogate more.
Yeah, if there is more framework, more tools available, so
Right,
you can
right.
do the job easily.
And uh, a lot of data is being generated in the
Mm,
past so many years, and
mm,
every day data is coming, every hour,
mm,
every second.
mm,
So to handle that data, that is why we are at the stage where we are learning data science, big data. Google is developing a lot
mm,
of in frameworks and everything. So that is the necessity. It has become a
mm.
necessity to study.
Okay, so Sakshi, so how you do manage your time? Okay, so basically I'm talking about the time management. So how you manage your time, research work, also doing the jobs. Okay, if you have
Yeah.
to doing also personal project, not personal. So suppose you are also learning new things. We are talking about, in data scientist, you have to keep, reading the
Upgrading.
research paper,
Yeah.
upgrading. So how basically you manage the time?
So definitely, since I'm doing work from home, my travel
Mhm.
time has been saved. So that is
Mhm.
like an add-on advantage to me.
Mhm.
So I utilize morning time and then evening or a night time, depending upon
Mhm.
what kind of work I'm having. So generally, 3 to 4 hours I have to study over the
Okay.
weekends, apart from the office work,
Mhm.
and then Saturday also. I mean, there is no excuse because PhD is there.
Mhm.
So that is how I am managing my time. Sunday, no work, no study. That's how
Okay.
complete
So
holiday
so
for me.
your is so okay. So your PhD is still going, or it's complete?
Half of the PhD.
So what is good and bad about, data scientists?
Okay, so good is right now a lucrative field where you can
Mhm.
get a more chance to earn more
Mhm.
and place yourself a little bit distinguished from
Mhm.
the other crowd in the IT.
Mhm.
And one more good thing is that not only the people who are coming from the science or the engineering background is getting job into it, so
Mhm.
people who are coming from the commerce also, they are also getting a job
Mhm.
into it. So it's a
Mhm.
multi-domain
Mhm.
multi-domain. And then bad thing about this is like it is highly misunderstood, highly overburdened also sometimes.
Mhm.
So if somebody is interviewing a data scientist, they expect them to know the data engineering, data visualization,
Mhm.
everything in detail.
Okay. Yeah.
And from a data engineer, they expect them to apply the machine learning algorithms also. So this is
Mhm.
like a misunderstood profile till yet.
So how somebody should avoid this type of misunderstood thing?
So that is generally a corporate uh, things can be
Mhm. Okay,
changed.
okay. Yeah, you have to take care of these things, You have to read the job description in more depth. So maybe, that will help.
You have to ask the JD during the interviews. That is more important because
Mhm.
job description is quite overlapping.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
ask the interviewers that what they expect more. So they always give you an opportunity at the end.
Mhm. Mhm.
So just
Mhm.
keep utilize that opportunity.
Okay, okay. Yeah, fine. Okay. And what are the any new trend or future of the data scientist?
So right now, next 5 6 years are quite good,
Mhm.
and then definitely we would be requiring more algos
Mhm.
to deal the new kind of data. So definitely a new kind of data is already existing, sound
Mhm.
data or
Mhm.
some we can say physics data
Mhm.
already in the market going on, research is going on. So we would be again upgrading to study those kind of data.
Mhm.
So future is good, and it's like in the earlier time also, if you might be aware of, we used to work on the SAS.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes,
So
yes.
data mining concepts are basically from that point only. So
Mhm.
it is people used to analyze at that time also with the help of
Mhm.
Excel pivot.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
now with the help of frameworks that have been developed, we are able
Mhm.
to analyze in a better way. So
Mhm.
analysis has been there in past
Mhm.
also, it's here in
Mhm.
present, and it will
Mhm.
keep on doing in the future also.
Okay, okay. And also nowadays, new chat GPT type of things, tools are also so generating. So is this how they are? So is this type of tools are affecting data scientist job roles?
I think they should create more job roles. So people are using it,
Mm,
definitely, but
mm,
the ones who are developing it, who are
mm,
making that much of
mm,
sophisticated engines,
mm,
so
mm,
sophisticated codes, the
mm,
NLP codes,
mm,
the searching
mm,
capabilities, searching algorithms,
mm.
that people should take it as an opportunity to learn more.
Okay,
And
okay.
chat gpt is quite sophisticated in few of the domains, like
Mm,
the people who have developed it, I think they have specialized in the domains. So
mm.
people are also getting the opportunity to specialize the domain and write code for the chat gpts. So take it in
Okay.
that way, it would be good.
Mhm, mhm. Any depth understanding of the generative AI? Like you are researching or learning about generative AI. So have you any
So
idea on that?
no, generative AI I'm not working right now.
Okay, yeah. So Thank you so much for joining us today, Sakshi. So your journey is truly inspiring, and I'm sure your insight will help many people in their own journey. Okay, so we are grateful for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.